Hello there, guys. So yeah, if you if you missed last week's episodes will now be coming out on Wednesdays, possibly Mondays if I'm able to record and edit them in time, but that's not a guarantee. So Wednesdays are currently the time to get new episodes, and I hope you enjoyed this one. There were some slight technical difficulties while we recorded. Basically, recorded a different way, and some of their audio sort of overlapped with mine in a way that it wasn't. So there's sort of two versions of their audio, but I've tried to mute it or delete it entirely from the episode. So I hope that doesn't bother you too much, and I hope you all enjoy. Let's begin. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of At the Movies with William Fletcher. As per usual, I am your host, William Fletcher, and I am back after some time off for personal reasons that I'm not going to go into or not really go into anyway, because I don't want to, basically. But this is a special episode for several reasons. First of all, it's the return. I'm back to do episodes again, and I'll be going to continue doing episodes now again. So this episode is a tribute episode, I guess you could say. This was a film I was going to cover with my dad that we had talked about doing, but life said no, so we're not going. Unfortunately, I can't anymore, but I figured I might as well do this anyway, because for him, basically, it's what we're doing it for. And the other sort of main reason why this is special is I'm joined by two guests this week who may, depending on how well this goes, may become permanent parts of the show. So we've got Harry Jobson.
We're on train and trial.
So, Harry Jobson,
Yeah, that's me.
He's been on a few episodes before, and Barney Metcalf, who was effectively the other co-host he's been on, I think.
Oh my god. There's another person here now.
Yeah, we've got three people, and depending on how this goes, we might do more. We spent like 30 minutes before starting recording this, just shooting the shit, and it's going all right. So I think we'll be good.
I think we're going well. I think this is a good pilot.
Yeah. We've got some rhythm. We've got some.
The banter is top notch.
The banter's insane.
And we're also recording. I'm recording through Audacity now. Seeing how that works, see if that works out better, because Streamlabs was very hit or miss with me for some reason. Sometimes it worked great, sometimes it was awful. So Audacity should be alright, and we just spent the last 30 minutes or so making sure everything's working. So hopefully it does. If it doesn't, I'll be disappointed. So, this week, we were going to be covering Pleasantville, which I've been aware of for a little bit. And yeah, I watched it last night. Harry, you said you watched it this morning, and Johnny watched it like 2 days ago now, you said?
Yeah, something like that. I watched it on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
So all pretty recently, I'd say.
Yeah, recently enough that I can remember.
Yeah. So this was... So I was really... Because when I mentioned this to my dad a while back, and he was just... My dad asked me, he's like, "Oh, why do you bring it up? Is it like one of your friends, one of his film lists?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then I watched it last night. I like it. I think it's a good film.
Do you want to go over the cast list? It's like what we know of the sort of the cast. First off, not the main character by any means, but in any film ever, I love Jack Daniels. Can't explain it. He brings this vibe to every film he's in. Like what he played the head of NASA in The Martian.
I was gonna say that's what I think of when you say like modern Jack
Harry Harry in Dumb and Dumber and Dumb and Dumber 2. But Dumb and Dumber 1, that's a comedy classic.
I don't.
Will does not agree.
He was. Okay, we're not going to get into that.
We're not talking about that.
We should do it on the show sometime in the future then, because I think we'll get...
Because me and Harry can...
Exactly.
But Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, the real Spidey. Tobey.
Hashtag my Spider-Man.
We've got Paul Walker.
Yeah, what the hell is Paul Walker doing in there? I had no idea he
I
was
was
in
watching
it. And
it,
Yeah,
and I was like, I know that guy. I've seen him in something. So I went up, I
then
pulled up
fully- I
IMDb
didn't
and like, we
realise
got
it was
scroll
him,
through the
and then he sat in a
casters,
car.
and then
I
it
was
said
like,
Paul
it's him.
Walker, and I was like, what the fuck? He doesn't look, because he doesn't look like him, does it? Like that's not the Paul Walker.
he doesn't look like that grimy sort of like Fast and Furious dude.
Mhm.
He doesn't look.
Like,
he doesn't look
he
like
doesn't
the
look
sort of
like-
person that would say, "Forget about it, Kurt."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He doesn't look like this sort of person who would wear like a fox hat. He much more looks like someone who, like, I don't know. I think he looked very. We're not talking about how Paul Walker looked in the movie. All I'm saying is that like, I didn't expect to see him, and then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think that was similar for Toby, although Toby was a celebrity like child.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did acting when he was younger, definitely.
Like 4
Him
years.
and
Yeah,
Leo
but-
DiCaprio.
4 years.
Yeah, but I think this was one of those films that
Yeah.
sort of got him.
I think he'd done
Like,
Fear
this
and
is
Loathing in Las Vegas or whatever it's called.
Right before, like.
Yeah, that's what his Wikipedia page says, and Wikipedia is obviously a reliable source. Which that's always a weird thing. But yeah, I mean, since we're talking Reese Witherspoon, yeah, this was again before she was really a big name, and I really like it. I think I love Tobey Maguire in like everything I've seen him in. He's not a good he's not like a great actor or anything, but I think
he's really good at playing Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, no.
It's Tobey Maguire is like, yeah, Tobey Maguire. Except in like Brothers, he was a bit more full on.
Is that the one where he like smashes up a kitchen?
Yeah, he's like, you see what I did with these hands, Grace? You see what I did with my hands?
What's that film? What's the film where he goes like, "That was today, today"? There's
Is that Brothers? No,
I don't know. I haven't seen it. What's that
I-
film?
I don't know. He was in Babylon.
I love this
recently.
guy.
That wouldn't
I
be it.
thought.
But yeah, no, he is in that.
Have you seen Babylon or no?
Yeah, I have.
Oh,
I have. That wouldn't.
He played like a very funky, creepy kind of guy.
I was gonna say he looks like he's got like a disease.
yeah,
in
no.
the
I
trailer.
thought
he looks really sick.
there had been rumors that he was playing Charlie Chaplin, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I
And
was
apparently
gonna say,
he's
he
not.
looks like
He's
he's
just
in the
someone
trailer.
else.
Someone
But yeah, no, I thought.
like a real person.
I mean,
or...
a character named James McKay.
Like George. No, that's a different. I was gonna say like George Takei, and then I was like, no,
Yeah,
that's
that's
different.
so-
George
very-
Takei, yeah,
That's very different.
Hey.
But yeah, start with Toby.
God damn.
One of the first notes I
And-
made was how young he looks. Like
George
he does-
Takei, yeah,
he-
Oh my god, like he
It's
looks
weird
like
how
18.
much it's weird how much he aged between this.
I
and
know,
Spider-Man.
and like
It's only,
watching
4
Spider-Man.
years.
The worst thing about Spider-Man is that he was playing like a 17-year-old in that, and he was like 20.
Yeah, no,
Weird
he
how
was
much
like
he aged
mid
between Something like
this.
that, yeah.
20. Like he was.
Something.
I think he was 23 when he did Pleasantville, or something like that. So Spider-Man 1, he would have been 20.
He,
He's
yeah,
23,
he was
yeah.
23.
So he would have been like 27 when he did the first Spider-Man. And does that work?
Mm.
Does that maths works? He's 47. Yeah, no, the maths does work.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
wondering if I was like, am I doing it? Yeah, no, he's about that age. Yeah, but I love Tobey Maguire in this. I think it's probably the
That's
best thing.
wild.
Probably his best performance. I would say. I think, in fact, for a lot of the cast, I'd say it's some of their best work on show here. I think.
Yeah, I think. I definitely like. I think some of the acting, especially like the younger members of the cast, I'm talking Toby and like Reese, and Paul even. I think they did like quite a good job of like, because Toby and Reese, or what are the characters? David and Jennifer.
Jennifer, yeah.
They're supposed to be like the modern youth. Oh, well, the 1998 modern youth. Whereas
Because every 1990s teenager watched 50s sitcoms.
yeah, like everyone, like Toby, with the exception of like, he's supposed to be some like greasy dude who sits down and watches. Like he's kind of a representation of us. I'm not gonna lie. Like just like watches stuff.
I'd love to disagree with you there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm one to sit down
yeah.
and watch like Adult Swim marathons on like
I mean,
Venture Brothers and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch them.
I'd love
You
to
know, or
disagree with
reckon,
you there.
I just like go on Adult Swim and I'm like, oh, they got marathons on, nice. because they just have 24-hour
Yeah.
marathons of just some of their shows, and I'm like, I have sat down and just watched like an entire season of the Venture Brothers on an Adult Swim marathon. You know, like
I remember.
I used to do that with like Oster. I used to watch like 24 hours of American Dad and think, what am I doing with my life?
I remember several years ago, the first time like my parents were away for like several nights. I was like home
Yeah.
for a few days. Instead of doing anything, you know, cool. Well, I mean, I think it was cool, but I just stayed at home and watched The Twilight Zone.
the original one.
That's
Yeah.
how I spent it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the Twilight movies, and I was like, oh,
Well,
that's
since-
I
interesting.
just stayed at home.
If no one's home, you
no.
can't be judged.
Yeah, I was going to say the high school that they sort of portray in this is much more like, you don't see a lot of it, and it's not that his character gets like, yeah,
I say it's in,
you
like,
see it a
5
little
minutes
bit
at
at
the
the start, and he doesn't really get bullied. He sort of just talks to no one, and then it's like, I can't believe I'm related.
I was
to
gonna say
that
he's just
thing.
kind of a loner, which I think, you know.
Which is a much more
Or people like
accurate
that.
depiction of like, it's not directly bullying. It's just like,
Yeah.
you're alone.
But I don't.
I was gonna say.
I don't think.
I got very deep. There are people like that.
It's
I
psychological.
don't really like that as like a thing in like high school movies, because I'm like, there's no one really in high school who is
I got
alone.
very
Like,
deep.
there's fucking weird ass kids at high school, but you've all got friends. You know, like I knew a
This
Yeah.
podcast is going out to all of you
Yeah.
people that went to school
Yeah.
with Will. It's like,
No, but we're not like, we get portrayed in the film like Toby's character, which I'm just gonna go by David. David, like, he's not portrayed as sort of this like weirdo kid. He's just sort of portrayed as like
he
some
just
guy.
likes watching marathons of
Like,
50s sitcoms. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and we can start talking about like the theme. So that's the start of the film. We're introduced to
Yeah,
like
let me just
the
get my notes. See what.
sort of, which, by the way, is it the opening credits or when it first goes like, you're watching the TV
You're
world or
watching
whatever it is.
50s
Yeah.
TV.
I think that's really cool, but I like, we start with,
Yeah, we meet Toby and
what
Reese
is it
Witherspoon, and
in the,
I
yeah.
think because we sort of talked about Tobey Maguire. I like Reese Witherspoon, but I'm yet to be blown away by her as an actor. Like
I agree. I always see her in things. I'm like, I like her. She's
There
doing
was-
the
there was-
job. She's
There was a
remembered
part
lines,
in
but-
this movie where I'm like, this is the goofiest thing I've ever watched. Where it's like, she starts like reading the book and then she puts on the glasses and ties her hair back, and I'm like, oh my god, just because she's reading does not mean you have to make her look full nerd. Like, it's
Oh my
sort of
god,
this like,
Jennifer is reading.
I know
she's reading.
I know it's like symbolic of like a different like characterization of what she's been. Like she was, I did the slut thing. I'm gonna try
I
something
did not
else
like
for now.
the
for a
use of the
while.
word slut really cuts through me sometimes, because I'm like, that hasn't aged. I don't think we're allowed to say
Is that because people call you a slut?
yeah all the time, mate. I'm just
Can't
out there.
handle it. He's
All the
like,
time.
Every day.
I used to be a man whore. Yeah, no,
I got
call
shamed,
you a slut.
and I'm like, I don't. No, it's not that. It's just like because
All
you
the time.
like the use of the word slut, just because there's so, like the negative connotations for that word,
It just
and
seems
the
mean.
context in which it's
mean.
used. You know, like, oh my god, women like having sex. What? Oh no! How dare they?
Theme in the film around sex with this, where it's like they start restricting the bed sizes, where they're just like, no bed should, like the 2 twin beds, and what was the other one where it was, the other moment where they talk about it in this film.
That was so. I mean, this is later on, and we'll talk about it a bit more later. Oh, sorry, you're saying, Harry?
Yeah, I was thinking of like just like some of the, because obviously this film does touch on like a lot of like at the time current, like, let's say socio.
I was
gonna say, I think
where it's like,
it's
but
very
the whole
representative
whole
of the
scene where
50s
it's
moving
just
to the
like,
Yeah,
60s.
exactly.
where like instead of being like, where's my wife, he would walk around like, where's my dinner?
Oh, I love
Where's
that.
my
I love that.
dinner?
Bit. I
Yeah, no, I found that really funny. It's like, his delivery of like, where's my
dinner?
This is
Yeah.
Where's
Anyway,
my dinner?
to quickly touch on one more thing about
Yeah,
Reese
no, I
Witherspoon before we
found
move
that really
on.
funny. It's
I'm
like,
just looking at her films that I've
Yeah,
seen,
his delivery of
and the best film I've seen her in is American Psycho, and I forgot she was in it. Isn't she like
Oh,
Patrick
yeah,
Bateman's?
she's in
Is
that.
she Patrick Bateman's girlfriend or something? Yeah.
Or something.
I don't think she's
Yeah.
like. I think Toby's like
Actually, no, I
really
think
great in
she
it, and she kind of gets a
plays
bit
well. I think
forgotten. I feel like.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
her character
she-
kind of just sort of vanishes.
Yeah,
in the
no,
second half.
but
And then
I mean-
at the end it's just like, oh, I'm doing university,
Yeah.
and then off she goes. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
she
okay.
sort of see, and that's a perfect character. Like that's perfect, like metaphor or like visualization of what real women are like. As soon as they're not slutty anymore, I'm sorry.
They are
Once they pick up a
literature loving.
book, no longer important. No,
But my
I'm
thing-
obviously
I
joking.
think it's
around. I think it's a shame because she had like a major point of like bringing color
exactly.
to the
Yeah,
world,
with
and then just sort of fades away halfway through the film.
exactly. Because I sort of thought like
Yeah.
her and Maguire kind of co-leads. I don't believe in co-leads, by the way. I think that's a fucking bullshit like term. Like I hate when the Oscars are like, yeah,
Yeah.
just gonna pick a man and a woman, they're leads, even though one of them clearly isn't. But yeah,
Maybe,
Reese Witherspoon
yeah.
is sort of, I guess, the lead woman, if you want to make that the case. You know who I noticed, who, Barney, I think you'll be a big fan of, is that the mom from Malcolm in the Middle's in it, isn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jane Katzmarek. I was gonna say
Yeah.
Lois from Malcolm in the Middle's in it, and I was like, oh my
I
god.
haven't seen Malcolm in the Middle, but I saw her name in the credits. I'm like, oh, Barney's gonna like that because you're a big Malcolm in the Middle fan.
I was gonna say I'm a big Malcolm in the Middle fan, and it was really
Man,
nice
there are
seeing
some
pre Malcolm.
There are some hidden gems in Malcolm in the Middle. We got
Yeah, Malcolm in the Middle's great.
We
It's an
got,
excellent cast.
like Heisenberg.
Yeah,
We've got.
Yeah.
I think when we're touching on like Toby, so it's pretty evident throughout the film that Toby is the protagonist, and like that's just like. But
he
that being
does
said,
the
like
most that
Yeah, and it's kind of his journey.
that being said, he doesn't do a lot that continue it's. I feel like this film. We'll start with the like only real fault that I had with it, and that's what it struggles to develop both Toby's and Reese's storylines at the same time.
Yeah, I think they sort of focus on
like-
Toby.
Like,
And
like
that's
I said,
why
she
Reese
just kind of gets a bit
Yeah.
forgotten.
The
about
reason
in the second half.
she gets forgotten about in the second half because Toby takes the lead, whereas in the first half when she's doing things, I think Toby does not get forgotten about, but Toby's yet to accept the change.
Exactly,
that
yeah.
should
Toby
happen
has to, and
Pleasantville.
he's sort of reactive to
Toby
his
hasn't
character.
begun his proper.
He's sort of
evolution.
Yeah, which
I'll tell you. Okay, it's something that we're kind of talking about, I guess, flaws we have with the film, and I really like the film.
Mhm.
It was excellent, but I think the kind of framing device of getting them into the 50s sitcom.
that was
I'm not
ridiculous.
sure. I'm not like not just the whole. Oh, we're wrestling
Oh,
over
that
a
was
TV remote.
that
We're in
looks
the
so
TV show
bad
now,
when
but
it
the-
just like
I'm not
because it's
sure.
so they're just like
I'm not
pull
sure
and then
it
it goes
does the
fly and it
whole-
just
yeah.
like smash.
Oh,
We don't even see
we're
it like
wrestling over
get
a
thrown.
TV
It just like
remote.
goes
We're in the TV show now,
and it
but-
goes like that and then it just goes fucking smashes into the wall. I'm like, you couldn't just
Yeah.
throw it.
Doing huge props to the costume
Oh, yeah,
and
this
set
was a-
design. But how could you fumble the bag on the telly remote so
Like
bad?
the new one they get.
It looked like a bar of silver.
It's just added a red like lump to it.
It was
stupid.
It was like a rejected.
Yeah,
Doctor Who.
and like exactly, yeah.
It looked really bad. How did Click do a better remote than you? Like, Click did a similar concept better, just because like it looked a tiny bit more realistic, whereas like that's the other gripe I have with
Well,
it.
I
It's
guess
just
it
the
is.
look
You know,
of the
it is
TV
meant to be
remote.
a magical
comedy.
remote sort of thing. So.
It's also like a comedy. You're not supposed to take it like. I mean, obviously, like for a comedy, it touches on a lot of very serious.
Oh yeah, we'll
topics,
get to
but,
that
like, I mean,
later
it's
on.
quite
But
literally,
fucking hell.
Can we talk about the magical TV repairman?
Oh, yeah, a bit of
Because
an enigma, that
I
guy.
might just be forgetting, but why does he put them in a 50s sitcom?
Oh, because he's been looking for the
Like a
perfect
massive
person
fan of
to
the show.
enjoy
Yeah,
Pleasantville.
Because he's saying to Toby like,
'Cause he
sometimes
has
people
this
only know
power
like
to
the
put
early
them in a
days. Like you quiz them on the early days and they love that stuff, but they don't know the latter days. And he's
See, this guy just seems like a complete prick, being like, "Oh, you're not a
I'm
real
just like,
fan."
it's like that thing where girls, you know, if they dare wear like a band's like shirts, like
this
name
guy
3
just
fucking
seems like-
albums right now, you're not a real fan.
The
Yeah,
guy with the
he
power,
fucking he's like, oh, you're not a real
It's like his whole
fan,
shtick.
and I'm like, I'm sorry, even TV shows I love, there's no way I could memorize like even Community or Breaking Bad. Like I couldn't. I'm almost certain there's questions that I would get about those shows that I'd be like, fucking, I don't know. Like,
I gotta be honest, I'm in the opposite boat. There are some shows where I could like genuinely name plot points of entire episodes from the name of the episode. Like,
Yeah,
or you could just like,
I could probably do that with some shows.
I can do it with episode shows that are like super literal, but I could do it with How I Met Your Mother.
Jesus
Just
Christ.
because I watched it so much
That's
growing
like
up.
200 episodes or
I
something,
know.
isn't it? It's fucking insane.
There's like 9 seasons with
Oh,
25 episodes a season.
Insane.
But I can do it. I can do it with Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
But yeah, I kind of found the whole thing with this guy, and he has this special remote. I'm like, all right, we're going into some weird like sci-fi shit. I can go with it because I've been accused by certain people on Discord servers, film Discord servers, that I am not one for that I love realism in films, and I'm like, no, I fucking don't. I just like consistency. Like RRR is a terrible film because there's no consistency to its logic. Like I can go with mental shit. Like the Adult Swim Yule Log is fucking insane. And it's great. It was one of the best films of last year, you know. I love time travel. I can go with time travel stories. I can go with films. Yeah, I just hate when there's no consistency. Like, I'm trying to think of a time travel consistency really fucking annoys me. But, yeah, consistency matters. But my point is, consistency matters, okay? And you know what else matters? I get into a lot of disagreements with people, but story structure matters. Okay, like I don't, and I think this film, like just in general, story structure is important, and so I hate films where there's no fucking ending because it's like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you not concluding your damn story? I don't care if you. The thing is with Pleasantville, right? I think it wraps up. I just wish one of the problems I have with it is I wish there was a final scene with Jeff Daniels and Tobey Maguire. I feel like we don't get a proper conclusion.
I remember thinking that when he's leaving 1958 and he's there with his gal pal and his mum, and I was like, "Where's Jeff Daniels?"
Yeah.
Also, what does Toby tell his mum about like? Hey, where's your sister? Oh, in another dimension.
I was gonna say, yeah. What are they gonna do when she realizes that her daughter is missing?
Because I was thinking that, I'm like, so that's just not a problem?
I mean, what are you going to say? Oh, don't worry, Mom. She's just gone to 1958 to go to college.
Yeah, it's fine, Mom.
Fuck, you're going to sound mental.
She's alive. She's not dead. She's just not here. And you just won't be able to see her forever.
She's in another universe.
To look through my notes, so one thing I noticed when they go into 19... Because they get into Pleasantville into the 1950s, and the guy he shows the camera, and there's that like date she's meeting, and like after like less than a second, he calls her a bitch and leaves, and I'm like, what the fuck? You can't wait 5 fucking minutes.
He was like, oh, it looks like your date's ruined. Ding dong,
bitch, and then he fucking leaves, and I'm like, all right, fucking twat.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, how fast do you want her to open the door? Ding dong.
She has to just be waiting there. She's just like looking through the aisle, like.
Hello.
Looking through the peephole, just
you're just like waiting. I really love William H. Macy and things, dude. He's fucking great. I think he's a phenomenal talent.
Yeah, he gives me a Willem Dafoe vibe.
He's Willem Dafoe's friend.
Yeah, he looks like he's got that sort of look. His face has got like a weird face.
He looks like a character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's like an exaggerated picture of what like a more normal person.
But no, I love William H. Macy in Fargo. He's fucking so. Fargo is like amazing, dude. It's good acting. Yeah, Jeff Daniels, just an inherently likable guy, isn't he? Like he.
I forget how excellent Jeff Daniels.
I didn't know
because I really
when I watched Speed, I was like, oh shit, it's Jeff Daniels in Speed.
Oh yeah,
and I watched. I've seen that clip from the newsroom where he's giving this monologue about how fucking shit America is, and I'm like, that's pretty good. I haven't seen the newsroom, but it's Aaron Sorkin. You can't go wrong with Aaron Sorkin, right? Like Aaron Sorkin's a pretty Although now people
yeah,
fucking hate
yeah.
on Aaron Sorkin, and I think it's bullshit. I think Aaron Sorkin's brilliant, mate.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I really like his style of writing.
And I mean, even as a director, he's pretty solid. Since we're talking about writing and that, I think this is a pretty solid screenplay. Actually, I think this is
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think, and this ties into what I was about to say, I think one of the best choices that was made in the film was it's clearly like sort of a story where these two teens go into a 1950s sitcom and then their influence like starts like changing the world around them. But I like the fact that they don't get color until like way later, like till towards the end. Like they don't get color, like because they're showing everyone how to be colorful and like the whole like visualization of color is like having a purpose and doing something you like love or whatever. Which I guess Tobey Maguire's is punching guys, but like
Tobey Maguire gets violence,
which I mean is quite
Well, we all know Bully Maguire.
Which I mean,
like...
I assume you guys must have seen that clip of Toby. He's like driving a car, and there's all that paparazzi around him. And fucking,
I can't fucking see.
I mean, he's completely in the right, by the way. Those people were fucking dick. So Jeff Daniels, inherently likable man. I just think he's I think he's maybe the best part of the film, honestly. His like the stuff where he's doing the painting stuff, I was like, dude, this is like deep. Like this is
I found it really moving.
This is like emotionally affecting. This film didn't nearly make me cry, I want to make that clear. But like I got into it.
It was just beautiful.
It was just a nice
like the whole idea of like someone who was always like looking to be told what to do and followed such a rhythm to then like discover art, which is if not the most colorful thing possible. But even then, that doesn't give him his color until he bangs his mom. Until he like spends the night with what's her character's name?
Joan Allen's character.
Yeah. When he spends the night with the dinner lady. Oh, by the way, like the contrast of like the way. I think it's also really well done. We didn't touch on it, but we should have at the start when we were talking about the start of the film, which I can't remember, a couple of hours ago maybe. Was how when
I've been recording for
they
an hour,
leave for school or whatever, he's eating chips, like he's eating chips and he's eating like that sort of thing, and then when he goes into the world and then look, did you see the amount of food on that table?
I'm really surprised that they didn't do like they take one bite and then the school bus like honks like I've got to go.
Talking about food, that bit where they get into the 50s and they sit down at the table and she puts like bacon and like what was it like ham beef or whatever the fuck?
There's like that eggs, bacon,
there's like
ham steak. Yeah, what the fuck is that? What is a ham steak?
It's just a pork fillet. There's a pork fillet.
And then she fucking drowns it in maple syrup, and I'm like, what are you doing?
That's the way American they did things back then. That in the 30s in like the South, they just doused everything in syrup because it was.
Oh my God.
I like syrup, but I'm not gonna fucking drown my eggs in it.
I was gonna say like she was
like look pancakes I can go with. Bacon, that's nice. I enjoy syrup and bacon, you know. But anything beyond that, like meat, like ham steak or whatever the fuck, no, fuck that. And she's just dousing
I'm just thinking of the fucking
she's basically just making it like a gravy boat for syrup.
We can see sort of how much Toby's character likes being in Pleasantville towards the start. He likes being able to sort of do this. And then the first time he decides, because the first few slip-ups are... it's Jennifer Aniston... No, sorry. It's... I'm so sorry. It's Reese Witherspoon.
The wrong... Yeah,
Reese Witherspoon...
Blonde sister, but is Jennifer Aniston even blonde? It's like a darker brown. It's like a brownish.
Wanting to say no to the guy's date. And then the guy gets upset and he misses the basketball shot.
I love that as a thing, by the way. They know something's off when they don't.
Toby just shuts the basketball.
Oh, mate, that bit where Toby just walks in and he's wearing this like tiny shorts and that tank top. I'm like, Christ, I don't think I've ever seen that much skin on Tobey Maguire, dude. Like, but he's wearing like the hot
Dude.
like the shin high socks. And I'm like, Christ, like you never see that.
Oh, that and like, so you
He's
talk
too
about some
white to
like
pull it off.
goofy sort of moments that really cracked me up. Were like, was the basketball scene where they all start missing their shots.
They just all fucking
like they all shoot and they all
they
miss.
all just
And he spins around the hoop.
When the mum discovers her body for the first time and the tree bursts in fire.
I love that bit. I love the bit where everyone just becomes sex crazy.
Of course you do. Fucking perv. No, but I thought.
Yeah, what Lovers Lane?
There's that shot where they're just all in the cut, and there's one bit There's one bit where like one set of legs is at one end and the other legs are set at like the other end, and I'm like, so is he like trying to figure out
what's going on?
I was like,
so
what's happening
she's
there?
lying down and he's.
It's a 69 situation.
I assume it's probably what it is, but like it can't be comfortable, can it? Like multiple cars, they're all just doing it. They're like, and I'm like, no, because I know that's a thing, and but yeah, that the stuff where that bit where Reese Witherspoon explains what sex is, and because I was thinking right in my head like, but since I assume they don't do it on the show, I was kind of wondering like, what if they don't have like the parts to do it? They're like Barbie dolls. It's just like
freaking
it's like they're Barbie dolls and they don't. And I'm just like, and then no, she starts doing it, and I'm like,
I would.
All right, we're just focusing on this.
I was thinking. I was thinking. I'm like, this is one really good like subversion. Let's say like play on the idea of the birds and the bees.
Yeah, because it's the daughter explaining it. I really like that actually. And then it just like goes through the day. It's like, well, when a man and a woman really love each other, they and then it cuts away. We don't hear the rest. Yeah. And I was just like, I was not expecting there to be a lot of sex in this. I was expecting no sex, to be honest. Yeah. And then she explains it, and then I found it super uncomfortable.
So it's usually the opposite.
I find it to be super uncomfortable, where she sort of forces the guy into having sex with her because he doesn't know what it is, and I'm like, is that technically like? I feel like that's technically because he doesn't know better, and he's kind of being coerced.
I was going to say
technically illegal.
He's
I feel like, and
it.
then he does it, and he's like, I love it. He's like, woo!
And that's all.
And I'm like, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, Paul Walker, he just wants to go fast.
And Fury.
But and then he's kind of just like, oh, sex is the best. And I'm like, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, good for you, Paul. You found your purpose, I guess, because he gets colors after that or whatever, and I'm like, because like each of it's sort of symbolic of like doing something you love, and I'm like, this guy loves getting a stiffy so much that he gets color.
But and they all just start becoming obsessed with sex, and I'm like, that's just teenagers, isn't it? Like, I'm like, I don't mind. Like, I'm not like teenagers are just like that, you know.
A little bit of high school relatability, for some people.
I mean, me personally, I'm not crazed by it, but if the opportunity arises,
of course, you're not going to say no, but you're not actively looking for it. You're not like waiting outside a club, like gotta wait for the drunk girls, guys.
I'm glad that they don't sort of make that like anyone's character in this. It's like besides the Whitey, every character in it like sort of is like somewhat respectful, except for like the cultist group that rebels against colors, which is just like a really political time piece.
I want to talk about that because to me a lot of this film plays like
racism.
The 50s moving to the 60s, and obviously the 60s, the civil rights movement.
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all that.
Not coloured stuff. I feel like that there's some sort of parallels in this film about that.
The no colors allowed and stuff. I was like,
there was that bit.
That's some choice.
I assume you guys noticed it well, but there's those bits where that guy's on that podium and the background there's like that one with the hands cut, and I'm just thinking that is that is Nazi. That is literally Nazi.
There's one shot where it's like it's from behind like the mayor or whatever, and he's like got his hands
and it's like, and I'm just.
and it's in black and white, so I think it's definitely meant to be.
It gave me really like
thing.
George Orwell's 1984.
Oh yeah,
like the black and white. Like
the imagery in that, and
black and white.
I fucking hate 19. But this film really, I think, to touch on those sort of race relations, is like, see, this also helps my argument that politics have always been in films. Like, films suddenly haven't gone
100%.
woke because of, communism and leftists.
This film especially is
like,
about,
this is a film literally about racism. Like,
this film's about racism, acceptance, silence of art, and suppression.
It's social freedom.
Yeah, no, it's social freedom.
It's like suppression of expression.
Like all the Nazi.
It's also a commentary on like the Constitution.
Oh,
the United States Constitution. So we won't, because yes, Australia, we do have a constitution. We don't care. There's no real problems.
No, people do it the fuck they want, and we just live
by the vibe of the Constitution.
Everything's fine. In America, like because this film, like a lot of it is very much, there's like a lobbying of everything staying the same. It was good the way it was before. We want to go back or whatever, where it's just sort of like, and that's a play on the idea of where it's like these laws that were written in like the 1600s.
Yeah, exactly. They're so outdated. It's the same with gun laws and shit too, man.
But they want to keep it the same, where I'm like, it makes no sense to like a reasonable person. And that's what this film like commentates on. Through, I think Toby's character is the best at like getting people to sort of explore who they are before, like because one of the final scenes is them in the courtroom, where he gets it out of his dad and he gets it out of the mayor, and then they all like leave the courtroom and the whole place is full of color. But I think, again, also the use of color where it's like so pretty.
Oh mate, there is. But there's like the pink like flowers with it. Oh mate, that is amazing shot, dude. That's fucking amazing.
I really like the cinematography in general in this film is really nice.
Yeah, I think out of all the black and white films, this one's definitely my favorite that doesn't touch on the Holocaust.
Also, speaking of that, more stuff that's like Nazi stuff. All the book.
That was like, I was it's literally just what the Nazis did. They're like,
that's literally what the Nazis did. Yeah.
But it's not even just that. I saw it as sort of like, and again touching on the themes of racism. We'll use Ice Cube and NWA as the perfect example. They were the first ones to really mainstream and like fight back against oppression with art and their culture, which like obviously is awesome and everything, but it was the constant like record and CD burnings that was happening then, which we saw happen in Pleasantville when they started to express with art and culture. Like, and books and stories that contain art and culture.
Jeff Daniels through painting.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels and his characters, like whole livelihood being like the riots being destroyed, so they can, because they don't like the idea of expression, is like,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous, and it's weird when you think about it, because like these aren't real. Like, not only are they in like a movie, but they're in a show in a movie.
To touch on sort of technical aspects, this film was nominated for 3 Oscars. It was nominated for production design, costume design, and original score, or original dramatic score. I want to say the score, considering it's a score done by Randy Newman, it didn't annoy me.
Like Randy Newman.
Because, like, look, I love Toy Story. I love the music in Toy Story. Besides Toy Story, Randy Newman's a bit shit, isn't he? He's not. I don't like.
Really?
I didn't mind.
No, in this, I liked it for the most part of this.
There were bits where I was like I didn't realize it was Randy Newman until a certain point. I was like, oh, this is Randy Newman, because it just sounded very Toy Story.
Honestly, though, I say this all the time, but like the Oscars are dumb. They screw up a lot of the time. Because this came out the same year The Truman Show did, which Harry and I did an episode on, and we were just touching on like The Truman Show was nominated for like 3 Oscars as well. It was nominated for like I think it was director,
and didn't win
supporting
one.
actor. Yeah, so
Oh no, it won one.
yeah,
didn't
lost.
It?
Yeah, it got
It won like the
nominations for
best
best
director,
director, supporting actor, and original screenplay.
It was fine.
I mean, Jim Carrey should have been nominated for best actor. Let's be honest, he's brilliant in it. Should have been nominated for best picture.
I think again the themes of like suppression is like super prevalent. The whole idea of like love is being a core reason for color. The poor like finding purpose, especially the mother, like hiding makeup to conceal because she's worried. Like that was tragic.
Mm-hmm. The film. I remember, we were talking about, all this. There's lots of sex, and that scene where she just goes into the bath.
Yeah, that's
bath
one of my favorite
starts,
bits.
But she does that scene, which is colourful for her. Then the tree.
But that bit where she starts, and then she causes the tree to go on fire. I'm like, that is very insane.
I cracked up when I heard like when he walks in there, they're all just playing cards. He yells, "Fire!" And they're just like,
yeah,
just like cat, and they will like get up and start running.
Yeah, and I love that the firemen, they don't know what to do because they never have to.
And then he's just kind of by the end of it, he's just kind of chill with it.
Oh, that's what that does.
And then he's just kind of, and they're just fucking grabbing their gear, and they're like, "Where's the cat?" And Toby's like, "Fuck this shit," and he just grabs the fucking fires and he.
I would never.
Just like hold the trigger down, and it'll just go off. It's like, there's some great bits of comedy in here. There's one bit where it's like, I think it's the mayor or something. He walks into like a barber, and this guy's like, "Oh," and he gets up and he's like, "Office in the seat." He's like, "Oh no, I couldn't take your seat," and then he sits in the seat. Oh, I love that. It's so simple and it's kind of dumb, but like I don't need comedy to be like the deepest thing ever. Like I'm fine with it being very like
that, and never really understood the motives of the TV repairman. Like I get that he's some sort of like magical something. He sort of says like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" And then it's just Toby Maguire's like, "Because," and then he pisses off. Yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah, I think he just wanted a fan.
I thought it was really
and he put him in the
funny,
show, but then he doesn't really come into it though. He doesn't really come into
Elm
like
Street. What's at the end of Main Street?
Why do you go and see? I really liked in this film. Yeah, we were talking about cast before, and there's a couple actors in this that I'm like, they look familiar, and it's people from Buffy, and I'm like, what the fuck are they doing here? I'm just looking at my notes. Milk in glass bottles, fucking hell, like. Because the milkman, and he fills bottles with milk, and I'm like, why? That could break so easily. But also, I don't like milk. It's unappealing to me. Milk. That's why Alex from Clockwork Orange is also terrifying.
I would say the opening scene of A Clockwork Orange, he's staring at the camera, and then the moment a glass of milk comes.
That's why I don't want to watch it again, because it's that's the bit of Clockwork Orange that doesn't work for me. That scares me.
The bit where they smash a glass bottle of milk over.
Oh mate, the violence. Nah, that's fine. But milk in a glass. Oh god,
milk.
That bit where he assaults that woman, which is maybe one of the most horrific things I've ever seen in a film. Dude, it's so bad.
Yeah, but we move then we get through the film to the point where it's like they start seeing color. He explains rain, the stories.
Oh, I love that bit. The visual.
I really like that scene.
He's just standing there, he's like,
I found that weird.
And I'm like, there's a certain...
Some of my favorites was this.
Yeah.
He's like Shawshank
and I really love in films where characters just have fun and they just sort of have a moment where they can express themselves. So when Toby's just like standing in the rain, just like, rain, and then they all start doing it, I'm like, that's the because I just like earnestness, and I'm a fan of like when something can just be happy and we can have a moment where like genuine joy.
I just got a quick question. Toby is like his character Dave. Is it Dave? David. I was gonna say Dave. That sounds like very Alvin and the Chipmunks. Yeah. So like he he is like seen and set up as the biggest fan of the show like ever. He is like like he's the one, knows everything and blah blah blah. So he would be super familiar with all the characters. Did he bang that girl from that show?
Yeah.
Did it? So like whenever he watches the show, thinks about it now, he's like, I banged her. I don't know. They kiss a fair bit. They spend the night in the rain, but I guess everyone.
I don't know.
There's no implication of it.
I banged that bitch.
Is there?
I
can't
know,
think of a moment where they.
obviously. But I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just feel
but
like
kissing doesn't
they make out
necessarily
a lot.
mean
They
sex.
They hang out together. They went to Lovers Lane. Like,
There's no real implication, is there?
Based on the craze.
They totally could have. We just don't
but-
get a scene where they're like about to do it, and then it has it's that thing where the camera just pans away, just pans upwards.
What would happen if the person playing the characters on the show, for example, William H. Macy, he's technically an actor playing a character on a show when they're watching the show. What if he went into the world of Pleasantville? So would there just be two William H. Macys knocking about?
But not just that. Also, it seems to exist in its own like timeline. Considering we find out at the end. We find out at the end that Toby was only gone for what, an hour, but they were gone for like weeks in the
It's like a pocket dimension.
real world, or in
Because it definitely implies that there are time. Yeah.
Because remember, they keep going, boys, we got a train, we got the big game next week.
Yeah.
And then it shows them playing the game and stuff, so at least weeks. And it's only an hour
Yeah.
in like the real world time, so then it makes you think, how long is that shit
Like
gonna
Interstellar,
live
isn't it?
in that TV world for? And does if she's
Yeah,
in
exactly.
there
How
for
long is
years,
Reese Witherspoon gonna
and then
live there?
comes out and she's only been gone for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Does she still age as if like years have gone by?
That's exactly because she'll come back and she'll
I feel like we're
will she
thinking about it
age?
too deeply.
Have aged? Because we don't know how, because if it's like an hour has passed in the real world. Okay, so if she's there for 24 hours, she's gone for 2 years. No, that doesn't work. No, but if she's gone for 24 hours, she's gone for
About half a year.
12 weeks. That's an interesting question. They don't really go into it. Which, I mean, I guess this is the point.
It's not relevant to the film, the plot.
No, it's just an interesting idea. I think the film, because they don't really touch on it, because I was kind of like, so how much time is actually passing? Because, that girl, her and Toby, they get together fairly quickly from what we see, like it all... I can see why Paul Walker and Reese Witherspoon would get together, because he was going to ask her out, like that's the whole thing. But, yeah, no, I'm not entirely sure. It's not clear.
But I think that's part of it. I think they sort of wanted to mostly focus on the narrative aspects of the film, and less so like I don't really have a problem without like I never was told what happens, but like I'm not going to be cinema sins. It's not going to bug me. Like I don't care.
Makes no
I'm not going to be like, so what happens to this? This is why.
Oh my god! There's opening credits, guys. That's just unbelievable. You can't have that.
To be fair, I loved the stylization of the opening credits of this film. There are very few films that can do like opening credits really well. I think some of my favorites was this one.
Pleasantville. I feel like we've talked about it a lot.
I would say I don't really have much more. I feel I need to comment on.
I think.
Yeah. So
I just want to.
I will
I'll give a rating after I give some of my final thoughts on it. But Harry, you go first. You want to give your rating now?
Yeah. So my final thoughts is like I thought it was genuinely such an enjoyable film to watch. I really enjoyed like the performances. Toby did a really good job. Reese did a really good job. Like Jeff Daniels, I always get so excited when I see him in a film because I know he's going to give the best performance he can. And I thought that he did really well. He was my favorite character, and by far, and because he seemed like the most innocent. Like he just seemed. Yeah, I don't know. Light nine. Like.
Yeah, I really love the film too. I think, for the most part, the kind of themes that it's banding about work really well. Like Harry said, I think the cast is really strong. But also I think the direction cinematography is really nice in this film. I think it's very interesting to look at. There are plenty of nice shots. Like there's a bit where he takes an apple off a tree and the moon's behind the apple and stuff like that. I mean, I do have my flaws with it. You know,
Yeah.
why the TV man puts him in Pleasantville. I'm not sure that's strong enough.
Yeah.
Other bits.
I kind of wish
that.
they had just sort of, it had been sort of like a, I don't know, they just did it on accident. I feel like instead of having
just
some,
kind of
that
just kind of Groundhog Day it, and you know, good
Yeah.
good time. But then I guess you need to find the reason for them to be able to get out. So
yeah,
but no, I'd give it a 9.
I mean, yeah, you two basically summed up my thoughts on it too. I just
Well,
wish there was one final scene with Jeff Daniels and Tobey Maguire to really bring it all
I can
together.
back that up.
I think that would probably make it
Yeah.
like amazing. I give it a very, very strong 8 out of 10. I just there should have been one final scene with Jeff Daniels and Toby, and I think that would have brought it all together and wrapped it up really nicely. Because the thing with his mum, we don't really get enough time with him and his mum. I don't feel like to really get that emotional sort of catharsis, that sort of emotional climax. I feel like we sort of lose that, and it should have been with Jeff Daniels instead. I do like the sort of final moment of it where like it's William H. Macy and her on the bench, and then it goes over there and then goes back and it's Jeff Daniels and then it ends. I like that. But yeah, I give it a very strong 8. I really liked it. I thought it was very, very good. That is at the end of this episode.
Cool.
And we might do this again. I enjoyed this. I don't know what these two thought, but
Good time.
Yeah, it was good. I thought it was good.
Yes, but yeah, thank you for listening. And yeah, this is for my dad. That's what this was. So I hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah, thanks for having us on for this as well, Will.
So listen to all the old ones. Look forward to the stuff I've got coming up, which I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I've got some good stuff planned. And I'll see all of you guys in the next one. Goodbye.